Hey there everybody, Kopiki here. Welcome back to more Kingdom Hearts 2. In the last episode, we managed to end up defeating Demyx and his ridiculous Dance Water Dance. And now in this episode, we're going to be taking on Zexion, Vexen, Saïx, and Luxeus. Now, my voice and commentary might sound different. Well, that's because this is post. Because I'm going to be real with you, the last few organization members, I kind of needed a little bit of a listen here. Anyways, let's get down to the brass tacks with Zexion. Zexion here will start out to go ahead and trap both Donald and Goofy immediately, and then after that, he will end up trapping you. His books has a lot more beefier defense, so you can't really end up dodging him all that much, or you can't destroy them all that much. He will end up trying to trap you into books. He will end up utilizing a technique that you have to go ahead and break out of, essentially dispel. And he will end up utilizing the 13 illusion attack a lot more often. This fight is not that bad, mainly for two reasons. One, Zexion actually has a low HP pool, mainly because there are some fights that some of the bosses or the organizations have little health, which is, you know, good, so it doesn't make the battle super long. So what I technically did here is utilize a strategy that most speedrunners will utilize, which is essentially going into utilizing fire. This kind of prevents his revenge value from increasing, sort of, but he can kind of still break out of it, per se. As you can see, he's kind of trapped a bit. Like, you can get some damage in. But I guess the way how I'm doing it is not wrong, so I switch into final form and then I kind of start doing the thing that most speedrunners do. You know, it kind of helps that I watch speedrunners, like, look at that damage when it comes to fire. It's amazing. It's great. Like, this is kind of a faster method of dishing out and shaving off all of his health. Unfortunately, I didn't actually equip ethers properly, so we end up getting trapped in the book. The only problem with utilizing the final form technique is it's kind of hard to, well, I should say, it's kind of hard to go into final form if Donald and Goofy are dead, because you need both of them to, you know, get to final form, which sucks because 90% of the time they're dead in this fight, so you won't be able to actually utilize it. The recent attack that he just did where he trapped us in a book, that is you flipping the pages with a triangle button, and it allows you to go ahead and you have to look for, I think, release, break, or something else. If you end up picking like greed or any of those other stuff, you get like money, health, MP orbs, and all that. It's not really that bad. As you can see there, I end up doing a bit of a pause buffer, is to be able to end up helping me be able to detect where he's going to be next. The reason why is because that segment is a lot faster, so his shield will actually come up significantly quick. And see how I was trying to use the final form technique, but sadly both Donald and Goofy were dead, because that's the only way. So as you see here, I'm using triangle. Jackpot gives you money. Destroy ends up destroying his books. Treasure, liberate gets rid of it. You might imagine that that was actually super difficult if you didn't play an English patch of this game, because all the texts were in Japanese. So that was a... Oh man, I had a very interesting time in trying to beat Zexion, is all I'm gonna say, in the Japanese version of Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix. It was a doozy. Anyways, I try to end up killing him here, but then he kind of just, you know, just gets away from me at the last second, traps me in a book, and then we have to do it with his BS again. But luckily enough, after this whole Book of Illusions, we end up killing him after that, so, you know. Like I said, Zexion is not bad. He's relatively the same. It's just that some of his mechanics are faster. Here's what happens if you get hit. You get showered with meteors and everything. Can I say that the Ultimate Weapon Keyblade I actually thought was useless? It's kinda is useless in KH2 base game, but in the Final Mix version, it's a lot better because of the fact that you're more so kind of like abusing the MP rage or the fast MP to get your drive gauge back. Because I'm gonna say this right now, the drive gauge is actually super important to most of these fights. It's because for one, it's a free health, it's free MP regain, and also sometimes free damage when you're just, you know, blasting the opponent out of the way. It's really good. It's not always reliable though, because, you know, sometimes things can happen. Another thing I should mention, second chance. I would warn you, second chance and once more, or I think it's second chance and once more, I don't know which one. One of the ones that ensures you that you live will not work sometimes, because what usually happens is that you might slip up and then the game is gonna think that Sora is not in a combo anymore, so he just dies, and yeah, that always sucks. So, and that was Exium. He's not bad. He's relatively easy. He gives you a Lost Illusion, which is very appropriate for his character. And now we're going to go after Saïx. Alright, so here's the deal with Saïx. Saïx's fight is the same thing as you fought him in the world that never was. The only difference is he does not start out in lunatic mode. He starts out with walking towards you or turning his back and looking towards the moon. We're not going to fight him legit. The reason why I say that, because it will be a very long video, because he is very super boring to fight. So we're going to summon Peter Pan, and we're going to do what I'm probably going to call it. I don't know what people call it. I'm going to call it the Saïx Shank. So Saïx's revenge value does go up a tiny bit, but the thing is that it never gives him the possibility of counterattacking. So if you keep air comboing him a lot and having Peter Pan stab him a bunch of times and shanking his behind, you can go ahead and get this into an endless loop and he will never go into his berserk mode. Yes, this is cheap, but it's the fastest, well, the second fastest way of killing him and ensuring that you don't have a boring fight. It's unfortunate too, because I guess I can go into the mechanics of what Saïx does. The only new mechanic is that his bar increases faster, and his claymores disappear in like two or 1 second. So you have a very limited amount of time to get the claymore to get him out of berserk, and that's it. That's really the entirety of the fight. Do not worry, I do not do a cheap method against the final boss. Well, not the final boss, the super boss in this game. The reason why is that I will end up showcasing 2 methods of how to defeat him, the normal way and the very hilarious way. I'm probably going to do that in a bonus video though, because at the time of this, I've already recorded that fight, and I am just going to post the winning section, because I'm going to be real with you guys. If I post the one where I'm like losing a lot, that video is like 50 minutes and you guys don't want to see the fail. I don't know, maybe I might put the fail like at the end of the video. I don't know, we'll see what happens. In all honesty, it was kind of annoying, and I came with a lot of close calls. Anyways, that was Saïx. He doesn't deserve it. Not only that, mainly because, don't worry, Saïx will get his comeuppance. Trust me. You end up getting yourself a defense boost. So if you want to grind for some defense, you can get it from there, I guess. Alright, next is Vexen. Vexen was an interesting one, because I practiced him once and I kind of lost a few times, but I ended up figuring out a method of how to beat him. It's essentially a speedrun method that I end up always watching. It's always glorious that I watch speedruns of Cage 2, but I never watch any speedruns of Cage 3, so man, I'm gonna have to come up with my own strategies. Even though, to be fair, Cage 3 kind of has like very versatile strategy, so it doesn't really matter. Anyways, Vexen, the only thing annoying about him, just like in the last fight, he has a shield. Now, as I stated before, they patched it out, thank God, but when this fight started, that little bar thing down there ended up increasing as soon as the battle started, with you in the cutscene. It ended up charging within the cutscene, which is BS, because you couldn't do anything about it. So to be able to beat Vexen super quick, it's the same exact method as before. Regardless of what you do, he's gonna get max. He's gonna get the max amount of data no matter what. The beauty, though, is that when you do enough damage to him, he will always go into his DM. You can never break him out of that. He will always automatically go into his DM. So this DM we never got to see before because he died super quick. So he ends up throwing a bunch of icicle shards at you. It's essentially the equivalent of if Shiva moved around in the Final Fantasy games. After a while, he uses Diamond Dust, and then he ends up creating an icicle, kind of similar to Shiva in a sense. Once he lands, he will summon a maxed version of Anti-Sora. Now, the reason as to why you never want this to happen in the base fight is mainly because of the fact that in the base fight, it hits super hard, and it also has kind of semi basic boss level health, which is really super annoying, and it's a lot more aggressive. It hurts, and you know, it's just super bad. You don't want that. Fun fact about Anti-Sora though, it's actually weak to Blizzard. It ends up taking a lot of damage from Blizzard. I'm not sure if it's because of the magic stat or what, but it actually does not like Blizzard at all. Physical attacks don't really seem to do that much damage, but I mean, yes, it makes sense considering the fact that it's more pertained to being more physical and not magic based. So, hey, there you go. If you want to go and get rid of Anti-Sora easily, you can do that. But here's a slick thing that I end up doing to be able to beat Vexen. See that Anti-Sora? Well, I don't like Anti-Sora. So what we're going to do is we're going to kill him, and then after that, then we kill Vexen. Goodbye. That was like a very clean fight in my honest opinion. And I love the turnout because I killed Anti and I killed him. And that's it. That's it for Vexen. Like I said, this segment went a lot better than the Demyx fight. Unfortunately, I should have thought of, after utilizing Stitch for the first half of the fight, I should have utilized Final Form for when we got to 99. But I was stupid, and I wasn't thinking because Demyx is annoying. Anywho, it's time for us to fight Lexaeus, or Lexaeus, whatever how you pronounce his name. He's the same thing. The only difference is that he will reach literally over 9,000, not even joking. And he will hurt super bad. Like, he will be a pain in your butt if you allow him to get to that point. But you don't really have to worry so much, because he's, like I said, same fight, same deal. End up utilizing Reflect to get some little bit of damage and whatnot. He has a bit of high defense, but that's only because, you know, your power level is weak, so you're not going to really do a lot of damage to him, which is actually a pretty nice mechanic, to be honest. It's weird, too, because the game actually doesn't even end up indicating, like, hey... Oh, then again, I'm not sure if it does. I don't really remember. I highly doubt it, because they don't really tell you what his mechanic really is. You just got to auto-assume that, oh... if his power is higher, he's going to be dealing a lot of damage, and that's it. Another fun fact. Well, not really much of a fun fact. Interesting. Not really interesting. A quick note, I should say. You cannot kill him if he's in the final few of his health. You cannot kill him when he's in that aura form. You have to kill him with either... You have no choice but to kill him with the reaction command. You know the reaction command when he kind of throws the claymore up at you in an uppercut motion? Yes. You cannot hit him. As you can see here, we can hit him a bit, but he will not die unless you do this. You have to do this. But luckily enough, when you're using Reflect and a combination of that reaction command, you're actually going to be doing, essentially, you're going to be doing the finishing blow with Reflect. As I stated before, remember, Reflect is a move that is more so a finisher and not something that should be abused in a way that you think. Trust me, because sometimes you can kind of screw yourself over. Once he reaches the 6K, he's going to go and go all the way up. Actually, I think he's kind of surpassed 6K. Never mind, I'm not good with numbers here. I don't know why I'm even trying to be smart. Anyways, I ended up getting hit by that. You notice that literally took me over like half health for the most part. Anyways, cutting him down, hit him with this. Time for the fire spam, as I missed, but it's fine. I actually thought this was not going to work, but I was like, no, actually it doesn't work. I actually think you kind of get more better stun lag with Final Form than you do with thing. And I was like, oh, cool, he's stunned now. Now I can kick his butt. And then after that, he ends up doing his final rage form, and now we can't kill him until we end up cutting him down. Kind of interesting. As you can see there, Reflect does not kill him at all. So, the only way to kill him, let him go in his rage form. Oh, he's almost to 9,000. And he is out. And that's it for Lexaeus. That's also the end of this episode of Kingdom Hearts 2. In the next episode of Kingdom Hearts 2, we will be fighting against the final two members of Organization 13 before we fight the final member, Xemnas. So in the next episode of Kingdom Hearts 2, we will be taking on Xaldin and Xigbar. I'll see you guys in the next episode. See yas!